ran out of Cheetos.
That's terrible.
So sound the alarm. Um, there is a food crisis. Yeah, let me set up my share screen here, y'all.
Yeah, we are going to be talking about food shortages that are happening right before our eyes, and um, what they're doing to counteract all that is just raise the price of everything. So we've definitely been seeing that with beef, and this article goes into all that.
Well, thanks for coming on tonight, y'all, and hanging out. Data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture shows the beef cattle inventory in the country that is at the lowest point in over 6 decades. According to USDA biannual cattle report, the head inventory as of January 1 is 89.3 million, 3% lower than the total last year and the lowest since 15. Of that number, 38.3 million cows and heifers have calved. There are also 28.9 million beef cows, or those explicitly bred for slaughter and meat sales, which is down nearly 4% from last year and the lowest the agency has recorded since 1962. Some challenges and reasons for the decline in beef cows appear to be the input prices and the drought last year. And that's what we were talking about, with the drought last year.
Yeah.
The real impact's going to be seen 2 and 3 years down the road. So this number will continue to drop. Your mom's on.
There you
And
go.
Freeman from Colorado. Good evening. Drought conditions have forced many producers to call deeper into their herds than they might have otherwise preferred. Elevated beef call prices contributed to an 11% increase in beef cow slaughter, according to USDA. Yeah, and right now, our butcher is booking for December. So,
there you go.
So we're gonna butcher our own, apparently,
Mm-hmm.
because I ain't waiting until December. There's a pretty substantial biological lag in the beef supply chain. Mitchell noted what consumers experience at the grocery store is a product of what cattle producers were going through a year or two ago. It takes about 2 years for a new calf to become the steak on your dinner plate. Then the meat industry is under attack. At least for now, the decline in American supply of beef doesn't seem to be forced or intentional. In other countries, cows and other animals are being targeted by their own governments and climate alarmists. In Germany, the Green Party and Social Democrats proposed increasing the tax on meat to at least 19%, up from the current 7% charge on most foods. As expected, climate change alarmists liked the idea and even pushed for it to be implemented in other rich countries. A coalition of Berlin environmental economists said livestock farming is a huge contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, as well as soil and water pollution. Professor Linus Mattock, an honorary research associate at the School of Geography and the Environment at the University of Oxford, said evidence suggests the environmental impact of meat are so large that the world cannot meet climate goals and keep vital ecosystems intact without reducing meat consumption. According to Mattock, increasing the price of meat to a prohibitive degree can be the solution to the meat consumption problem. Oh, so penalizing people, making meat unaffordable. That's the solution.
There you go.
In New Zealand, a multi-sector group called Hiwaka I Noa, the acronym HWEN, called for imposition of a climate tax on farm animals when they belch or pass gas. So there's going to be a cow fart tax. That is super cool. That these type of people. Who's the fart counter?
The one thing is I've never seen a cow fart in all my years.
Yeah,
I've seen horses fart.
I've seen what it
have
looked
you?
like that a cow was going to fart, and then it was then proceeded by large amounts of manure.
Yeah, but I've never really witnessed, and
I've
I've
never
been
witnessed a cow fart.
yeah, and I've milked dairy cows and been around cows like all my
Yeah.
life, and like never once.
If a
I never can
cow
recall
farts in
it,
the field
like
and
being
nobody's there to
like,
hear it,
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not. I can't really wrap my head around that. Like weird.
vegans are obsessed with cow farts. Yes, they are. Vegans
Oh, the
are.
side hustle survivalist is on. That's so awesome. And
Yo, bud.
your mom had a good question. Have you guys processed your own cattle yet, or even chickens? We actually
Yes and yes.
yes, and yes. And we actually processed our first 3 cows last year, all by ourselves. The third one was just for practice, and it actually became dog food because it was actually it was an accident by a neighbor, and his cow got stuck in a fence, and he left it there because he had to do some other chores real quick or whatever. Then he came back and it had suffocated. So he called us boys over, and he's like, I know it's been out here in the sun. It was like 105 that day. He's like, but at least we could cut it up and put it in the freezer for dog food and stuff like that. So we just went ahead and cut it up, and it was just more practice on butchering. So we got 3 cows under our belt now, and we have some things in the pipeline, and we're thinking of possibly just going ahead and building a kind of butcher shop setup so that we can butcher our own cattle in more of a controlled environment, not out in the
Yep,
pasture.
a cool environment.
A
Yeah.
cool environment, very
Maybe
sanitary,
we'll implement some
know.
solar
Exactly.
and doing all kind of cool stuff like that. Well, and that's probably going to happen, but we're just working on where we're going to put it and
Your mom,
what it looks like.
we did not cry. The first cow was kind of a jerk, so we killed that cow, and
Yes,
that
that
was
was
totally
like,
fine.
oh, you want to keep being a jerk, buddy?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Well, you're going to
So,
make some tasty steaks.
so yeah. So it's not it's definitely not the hardest. It's definitely not the easiest thing to do. I would say almost like I'm more connected to my chickens than I am to my cattle sometimes because I'm around them more.
But
And
you've always been a chicken
I
person.
know I am a chicken person. Yes, and we have our own chickens too.
Yeah. And we butchered a sheep before. We've
Yep,
done sheep,
sheep, rabbits.
rabbits,
Haven't done a pig yet.
ducks. Yeah, we haven't
Ducks,
butchered
yep.
a pig yet, but
Deer.
deer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Getting all-
group wanted a farm level split gas levy on agricultural emissions with built-in incentives to reduce emissions and sequester carbon. And when they want to reduce cow emissions, the only way you do that is by reducing the number of cows. So I'm sure PETA never talks about, these calling of the cows for the sake of the, Mother Gaia. Under the measure, farmers will have to pay taxes for the carbon emissions from their farm equipment, as well as the methane emissions produced by livestock as their stomachs digest food. If Wellington adopts Wen's proposal, the government will essentially tax burps and farts coming from cows, sheep, and other farm animals
Hey,
starting.
You know what does burp and fart?
Elite technocrats.
Exactly. So there
Yes,
you go.
that's true.
So green compost to globalist.
That's right. Oh, yes, and we have an
Boom.
awesome interview coming out, y'all, with David the Good, who actually inspired to go green compost to globalist.
Exactly. This is literally our best-selling shirt.
And it is our best-selling shirt.
Yeah, and you can get it in compost green.
And in compost brown, as I'm wearing right now. So that
video will be coming out on Monday.
Okay.
There you go.
You are late, Carlos. Better late than never, buddy. Let's see.
Start the article over. Boy.
Oh, cut it out, Carlos. Watch the replay, buddy. So we just finished the article, Carlos. So thanks for being on time.
Now we're moving over to the Dutch farmer protest, just to update over there.
This is in Slovenia. Thousands of Slovenian farmers joined Dutch-led tractor protest to end the EU green agenda now. So once again, you can see that this is an America thing. This isn't like a Republicards and the Democrats. This isn't that. This is a global geopolitical technocratic oligarchy, transnational, all of the Bilderberg / WEF / Council of 300 / Vatican, all the way trickles up and down, Illuminati, whatever, 13 families, the lizard.
Yes.
The tractor protests that began in the Netherlands and all the way at the top of the pyramid, in case y'all are wondering, is Satan. So he pulls all the strings. So you wonder how the conspiracy works. Well, old Lucifer, old smutty face, he's the one at the top there. Tractor protests that began in the Netherlands last year to fight the European Union's green agenda have since spread to Germany and Slovenia.
That's awesome.
Reports indicate that around 5,000 farmers participated in a Slovenian tractor protest over the week, which was primarily aimed at a recent ruling restricting the use of pesticides in certain areas due to concerns about water sources becoming polluted. Farmers are also angry at EU leaders for the special protections they are giving to wolves and brown bears throughout the country, which are attacking livestock. All in all, nearly 1/3 of Slovenia's total land mass is under the control of the EU environmental protections that farmers say negatively impact their operations. And I will say this, these EPA and governmental agencies like we are seeing here in America, et al., East Palestine and Wayne County, Indiana, and all of these environmental accidents that have been perpetrated by transnational corporations and the military industrial complex, and the same military industrial complex that is funding and fueling the proxy war. There's no pushback, there's no kickback, there's no problem with that. It's all just that all of that stuff is great. But Macau farts. All of that, like dioxins and whatever, yeah, that's a shame. But Macau farts. You know what? We're gonna make a new shirt, and it's gonna be But Macau farts. So for all you libertarians out there who want a But Macau farts, there will be a But Macau farts.
There you go.
And that is the solution to the global crises. And I don't know if y'all saw it, but this was right before Tucky Tuck got kicked off or whatever.
Fired.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe Tucker Carlson's ties to the CIA. His dad was like a mega spook, and Tuck applied for the CIA. And obviously, I super think that Tuck's a spook too. But right before he got kicked off Fox, or they parted ways, or however you want to spin it, Jay Dyer did this awesome like eat the bugs 2 or 3 minute video, and it was incredible. So if you haven't seen that, just like search Jay Dyer eat the bugs Tucker Carlson or something, and it'll probably come up. But it was hilarious. It was fantastic. Let's see. Who is outside? That's got to be Buddy.
It's probably Buddy and James out there shooting.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find my place in the article. Those who participated in the protests have given their government an ultimatum. Either do something within 10 days to reverse all these green restrictions, or the protests will escalate. We expect they will receive us within 10 days, said Anton Medved, president of the Trade Union of Slovenian Farmers, adding that his country's farmers have been sacrificed for the environmental experiments for activists and civil servants. If not, we will step up our activities. Green countryside and national prosperity are the result of the work of farmers, Medved added. Pro-farmer political parties winning big in the Netherlands. Now, from what I've heard from all of our different contacts in the Netherlands, is this pro-farm political party is completely a co-opted false front, which is what usually happens when you try to make political change. This is usually what it looks like, i.e. Proud Boys or whatever, fill in the blank. But, it's the same issues that any militia would have. They would absolutely be co-opted. So far, the Slovenian protests have remained peaceful. That could change, though, if the government refuses to listen to the demands of the people for whom it works. Interesting concept. The food that government bureaucrats imbibe on using taxpayer dollars. It is probably not a good idea to become the enemy of farmers if eating and not starving are something you hope to maintain. All EU politics would do well to remember this as they steamroll the will of the people with their egregious green agenda. According to reports, none of the protests that have occurred last year had much effect, but things are starting to change in 2023. The tractor protests in the Netherlands led to a pro-farmer political party that was founded in 19, outright winning the Dutch regional elections earlier this month. The Farmer Citizen Movement, BBB party, is now set to hold the single largest number of seats within the country's Senate. And we know what I think of? I think of the Tea Party, taxed enough already, and we have great new Redemlicans and Republitards and Democrips and all this stuff, and Marco Rubio, the homo dude, that's a stinking neocon, and Dan Crenshaw. And all of these, that's why the Tea Party movement evaporated. It was one gigantic co-opt with a bunch of neocons, New American Century cow farts. Okay. Slovenian officials so far appear like they will be far more willing to listen to the concerns of the country's farmers. However, with the country's Minister of Agriculture insisting that the farmers know that we are on their side, even if not all of the protest demands can be solved overnight. In the comments, many encourage these brave farmers to stand strong and continue to fight, with one of them emphasizing that they can win against the idiots because you are producing items essential to life. Those who enjoy eating should stand with the farmers, one wrote. Another warned that Americans need to do the same thing because the war against farmers will be coming soon to America as well. Well, it's alive and well here in America. There's no doubt about that. Farmers and ranchers have it tough enough without having to deal with a bunch of parasitic bureaucrats and environmental whack jobs who have never raised so much as a radish. The EU's green agenda is unpopular, to say the least, among farmers and other regular folks. So there you go. The two articles that we wanted to share today. Yeah, and unfortunately, all the documentation that I got from one of our contacts in the Netherlands, he provided me with the provenance of how that BBB party is completely co-opted. It's just like a deep state cutout. And, we've experienced that many times here in America. And and it's no different now with this whole Tucker Carlson trying to rebrand. And, and it doesn't mean that people can't change their mind. People can absolutely change their mind. But when they do, they have to go back and apologize and unpack for what they previously said, like all of the terrible things that he said about 9/11 and all that stuff. So, so if he does that, I would maybe take what he's saying with more weight, but Yeah, Tuck's dad is a super CIA spook, and and Tuck said, "Oh yeah, my dad was always in media, and I've always been in media." And if you listen to some of these excerpts from podcasts, he said, he basically said that he was the lapdog of the elite, and steering, and then people in his in that worked with him. He was like, he called himself a kingmaker. He could set somebody up or
Hmm.
cast them down. So super egomaniac, multi millionaire, worth $500,000, going to be worth $1 billion. Um, uh, Pete Sasquatch sent me the video with exactly, once CIA, always CIA, and that's absolutely true. And that's the same thing with DeSantis and all
Sadly.
his terrible
Sadly.
not nonsense going to Jerusalem with the drag queen flamer guy, and they're all yay good, and it's just insane. Like, it's so insane.
Yeah.
And it's so controlled, you know what I mean? Like, the dialectic, and it's bizarre, and it's all, to manipulate Christians and all these people that have bought into this Judeo-Christian thing that are very confused. It's unreal. It's unreal. And and we have to deal with it here in Texas when when you bid a public contract. You have to sign. There's a there is a state document in the state of Texas that when you submit a public bid, you have to say that you do not support anyone that boycotts Israel.
What?
Now, what does
No
that
way.
have to do with the price of loaf of bread in Texas? Yes
What?
way. And there's like
What?
3 forms that are all like that you have to sign. And it is the most insane thing that has nothing to do with anything, and it is certainly treasonous, in my opinion. How can you just make a blanket statement that this UN machination is always puritanical, right? And the Mossad's never been involved in like the JFK assassination or 9/11 or anything like that. Like, yeah, that didn't happen. They weren't actively involved in any of that. And MI6 and Mossad and CIA aren't always actively joined at the hip in multinational whatever in Iran and all that stuff. It's insane. It's crazy. And then, you're going to bid on a retaining wall, and it's like, oh, do you support Israel? I'm like, are
What in the world?
what is
What in
wrong?
the world?
And I got one for you. Who's Israel? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And is that a genetic
Yeah.
thing, or is that and what laws does Bibi Netanyahu, what laws does he want to replace? He recommended implementing the Talmud. It's so incredible. It's just so incredible, and it's just a false dialectic. And yeah, and isn't it interesting how DeSantis is tied to Jerusalem and Trump's tied to Jerusalem, and Trump, after he was blessed by Beth Moore and all these crazy charismatics over here, he's like over in Jerusalem at the Wailing Wall, and he converted to quote unquote Judaism, Talmudic Judaism.
What?
Yeah, it's so crazy, and it's all political. It's political stunts, but at the same time, they always have to bow their knee to the money changers, and it's just wild stuff, and it goes on in plain sight, right? It goes on right in front of your face, just like this. Oh, I don't have my phone on me, but just like this representative, this like super sod, um, Florida representative, that on his Twitter profile,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you
yeah,
were telling me
he
about
said
this.
that he organizes uh tranny story hour, right? This guy went with DeSantis clandestinely to Jerusalem, right, to sign this anti-law thing, and you can't even say these words because it's so co-opted, and the power brokers, it's like, people want to complain about CRT, right? And postmodern deconstructionism, but they changed the definition in 1901 of the word to make it something what it's not. and then all of this eschatology and even dispensationalism fits hand in glove with all this dumb stuff with the UN nation state. That's completely has nothing to do with scripture, and it's completely, the borders are even not even defined properly, and then genetically, the Palestinians are 80% genetically Jewish, and the Bolsheviks that currently occupy the Bolshevik communists that currently occupy the dirt are not. And it's just it's unbelievable. It's just really weird. You thought Trump was a Christian. That's funny. 2 Corinthians, it's a whole ball game. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah. Donald Trump is not a Christian. He might be a Jew, but he's definitely not a Christian,
Sadly.
Trans legislator. Okay, wonder if the trans legislator in Indiana is still sitting on the hallway. Huh. I didn't hear that about in Indiana. That's interesting. So sick of being disappointed. Yeah, that's why we always talk about so much of politics is man worship. It's man worship, and it's tribalism, and it's predicated upon a two-party system as well. It almost requires it, and that's why almost exclusively where we've dropped democracy through megaton bombs all over the world, freeing everybody from communism while implementing it.
Yeah.
It's always two-party systems because it's the easiest to control, and it's way easier for two sides to fight and to fund both sides than for 4 or 5 factions. If your power gets spread too thin, it's the same case they make for why you can't have third and fourth parties on a ticket, because they'll tell you if you don't vote for the lesser of two evils, then you're throwing away your vote, and your vote is your voice. Yet they will completely prohibit anyone that could potentially represent you from ever even being on the ticket. So it's a fascinating, and it's all done right in front of our face. You know what I mean? And it's the same reason why Tucker Carlson didn't want to support Ron Paul, because somebody said something about 9/11. I mean, it's that controlled. The opposition is just that controlled, and it's wild.
Yeah, it is all a stage, and each must play their part.
Trump's presidency, Jared Kushner's presidency, Israel's friend. Yeah. Yeah, but see, it doesn't even matter, because if it was if it was a Democrat, it's the same thing. That's what's really weird. That's just like I said, anytime both sides agree on stuff, you can guarantee it's going to be a terrible resolution. It's going to be, and that's why when Tom Renz wrote that bill in Missouri just to require labeling of the Mr. Nah in food, it didn't go through. And it was the most bipartisan thing that anybody could have approved. All they were saying is, look, you certainly can go ahead and do it, but you have to put it all over the packaging. They're not going to do that, because it doesn't benefit, it doesn't kill everybody. They can't steal everybody's money, and it doesn't kill everybody. So
Yes, actually, Buddy knows kind of how to play the guitar. He had several different lessons and things like that, so he knows how to play it relatively well.
Buddy, when he gets into something, he focuses all his energy on it.
Hyper focus.
He hyper focuses, but then, if it's not something that he's going to move forward with, he just kind of drops it.
Yep.
Texas has a bullion bank. I know that Oklahoma has proposed the law. I can't remember if I read that Texas has proposed a law as well, but I do know in 2018 that the Texas Bullion Bank does exist. So I would imagine that they're going to make that an option. There's been several there has been several states now, 8 or 12. And then there's another really interesting thing that someone's proposing. And it's a bank with an over reserve. So for every deposit, they have to have 108% of cash on hand, which is the opposite of fractional banking. Trying to remember what the name of it is, but they are implementing it, and and we'll see how that all pans out. That'll be interesting. And I don't know, apparently very few people watched the interview with Heresy Financial, but Joe Brown is a great teacher, and he puts things in very simple terms, and I think he did a great job explaining very complex concepts, made it very simple. And and I realize this whole niche thing with YouTube, and they try to push you into this niche, which I just refuse to participate in all that. So we know that some videos are going to totally dud. That video, I thought it was great, had a lot of great information in it, but it's super didn't do anything. But check it out. That was our last video that posted this morning.
Yep.
And I thought it was great with a lot of, and it doesn't mean that I agree with Joe, but that's great. We can have the discussion and talk about it. And, thought it was really good information. And then we have a really excellent, the interview with David the Good. And I'm sure we'll see how many people watch that. I'm sure
that video. Okay. This video that's coming out with David the Good's one of the funniest videos we've had. Like interviews. It was awesome.
It was so great.
It was
we were
awesome.
Laughing. And it was
like we were laughing before we started the camera and laughing after we stopped the camera. It was so awesome. So
yeah, David the Good is definitely a brother from another mother. That is for sure.
We are definitely going to be visiting David the Good in the near future.
Yeah. Maybe we'll even do some videos or something. That'll be fun. But
yeah, so we're all going to have to just keep moving on, and we're going to have to keep just planning out growing more of our own food, definitely. And maybe if you are elderly or if you don't yet have the land, definitely reach out to your local community and your local farmers. Knock on some doors and write down some numbers. Actually, this is pretty crazy. For local grass-fed beef, and I don't think it's has any it's not vaccinated or whatever, non-vaccinated beef, it's going for $10 a pound. This is low, like mass production or anything, and that's just for ground beef. $10 a pound. So we've actually been very blessed, and we had our neighbor right across the street probably 5-6 years ago, whenever we moved onto this property. I forget when he did finally contact us. He finally just stopped over and he was like, "Do y'all want beef?" And we're like, "Sure." And he's like, "It's grass fed, no vaccines or anything like that." And we bought ground beef from him for $3 a pound, and he was so kind and blessed us for years and years and years until we finally got our own cattle. And he, now doing the pricing ourselves and selling and butchering our own beef and things like that for ourselves, we're like, oh my goodness, that man was such a blessing to us. And that's Mr. Larry, by the way. And he pretty much just did it at cost, sold it to us at cost, and it was just such a blessing to our family. And I'm so glad we were able to repay him with getting him all that hay when it was that bad
awesome.
drought. So
We appreciate all y'all that helped out with that.
absolutely.
Texas
Yeah.
farmer, Hamilton is doing splendid, and Beans is pregnant. So
She's super pregnant.
She's super pregnant.
And Hamilton is gigantic.
Hamilton is
Huge.
bigger than ever.
He gets bigger every day.
And they browse the weeds, this Texas weeds in the back food forest. I'm going to rotate them to the side food forest, I think, because the grass is getting very high. But they definitely love eating the grass. It's kind of incredible.
Your mom's real big on the mosquito burger with all the fiber and everything. She's real into that.
Yeah, well, you know how it is with your mom.
Yeah. She's always trying that new stuff. Oh, man. But yeah, I think there will be some people that will comment on this video and be like, well, there's no food shortage. Blah. I know there's going to be some people commenting on this video and saying that there's no food shortages right this second, and there's no bare shelves right this second.
That's very myopic.
But the thing is that we've lost thousands and thousands of cattle in the last year, and we've lost over, or at least 100 food factories and processing plants in the last 2 years or year. So I think we are going to be seeing the ramifications of all that coming to a town near you very soon. So
yeah, Ice Age Farmers went dark, and people in
really,
the Ice Age Farmer Telegram group have just saying that he wants his privacy. He's went like, yeah, he's been dark now for over a year.
Whoa.
And yeah, I don't, maybe he just decided to, maybe he's got some big projects going on. I don't know. It's very unlike him. He did a lot of speaking engagements, and then he just went dark, and he just hasn't incommunicado. It's very interesting. Carlos wants to know if I tried the ground worm hot dog. I remember reading a book.
What?
Wasn't there a book about like eating worms in the government propaganda camp?
Oh my word.
When I went to school, there was some book about eating worms, and it was supposed to be like a funny, gross book, but now it's like a utopian delicacy. I guess I don't know. Gotta stay hip. Exactly. 1,961 food processing places have been destroyed in the last year.
Never mind.
That is just sheer coincidence.
I was going to actually look it up before we went live, and then I kind of forgot.
I mean, divide that by 365. That's more than one a day. That's for sure. That's more than 2 a day. It's more than 3 a day. That is incredibly coincidental.
Not to be like all tinfoil hat on you, but that's 1961, and then the beef deal was 1961.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
We don't do gematria here on the channel, so just chill, Matt. All right.
Just saying. It's kind of funny. I know, it is insane. That's
yeah, same thing with the trains, man. Train just derailed up in Wisconsin on the Mississippi.
Oh, wow. Right next to water, right?
Yeah.
One of the the biggest river in America. The Mississippi River. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, it's how many times
So
have they attacked the
what went on with that?
It just derailed, and these cars, 2 cars, like went in the river and floated down the river. And supposedly they didn't have toxins on them. Some of the train cars on the edge of the river may have, but supposedly it didn't.
It's always
leach
it's
out
always like
river.
that. It's like always so like.
And
so
Farmer
weird.
Brad was giving me some more information from Wayne County, Indiana, from that whole plastic recycling fire. And that was kind of interesting how the EPA responded so quickly, and they actually have like a dedicated website to it and all that stuff. So, but I know Last American Vagabond did a follow-up on East Palestine that was really interesting. When he posts it, we might do an update on that. But yeah, it's really it's
Oh,
really
there you go.
really terrible with what.
Bud said actually one car was full of lithium batteries. One car was full of paint.
Yes, and supposedly, that those two cars were on our line. So as far as we know it, none of things have leaked into the water.
I
But
don't
we'll
want
see.
them leaked into the water. Ironic that these things like tip over time now. I mean, we never used to hear about train derailments like always happening. They happened, but not back to back.
Well, according to Switzerland, and I know that they're not biased because I know that Switzerland's neutral.
Mhm.
Switzerland claims that people will not starve, as we have seen cereal crop production become a feedstock for animal and an energy production. So you will see it move back to human consumption. We could lose 50%. First off, this whole cereal myth that like it's good for humans, plus what they spray on it and how they
Oh, it's
genetically
toxic.
modify it. I'm not interested in eating cereal, that's for sure. Plus, cereal was a gimmick. People didn't even eat cereal until the Kellogg and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to eating cereal.
No. I'll stick with beef and chicken and fresh vegetables
And think about
and fruit.
think about how much. Okay, so as an individual or as a family, right? You can have some cows that
Mhm.
autonomously graze grass, right?
Yep.
Or instead, you could get rid of all those cows and grow cereal crop, right? And the logistics of that and everything involved in it, and whether you're harvesting it, winnowing it, storing it, keeping it dry, right, is far more complex. Your calorie count per pound is exponentially less. And that's really what makes your herbivores just a beautiful creation of God, to take an inedible grass, convert it into a nutrient dense on the hoof. That meat stays on
Grow
the
Lucky
hoof.
Charms. There you go.
That meat stays on the hoof until you need it.
Yeah.
And then you butcher that thing, and it's incredible. It's a miracle,
Yeah.
and I have no interest in swapping my cow out for a bowl of Lucky Charms.
No.
Even though myplate.gov says that a bowl of Lucky Charms is more healthy
Yeah.
than a ribeye.
Mm.
But then again, these are the same guys
That's
that
coming from Klaus Schwab, though.
these are the same guys that are doing the math on the federal deficit. So, and they think that Keynesianism and debt-based spending
Also,
works.
they think that we are overpopulating the world and stuff like that. We're gonna run out of room
Yes,
here on the planet.
Malthusian, yeah.
Even
Malthusian.
though the average American American woman is only producing 1.2 children in her lifetime. So there you go. So
Total population collapse.
yeah,
Which is in turn Social Security collapse, period. Like people say, oh, Social Security will never run dry because the government will never let it happen and blah, blah, blah. What happens when there's 100, 200, 300 people, quote unquote, retired on Social Security, and they're for every one working person? Okay. What happens? All right. It's math, not magic, y'all. And there's an amount of deficit spending that's going to fix that. It's just, yeah, overpopulation is a complete scam. And a lot of these, ice is melting people are all Malthusians. It's all Malthus. It's all eugenics. Malthus was a eugenicist, and it's all Charlie Darwin and evolution of the favored races, and how they compete and all that racist, crazy, racist, eugenic Charlie Darwin and Huxley. And it's just the same group of nefarious white dudes. That's what's hilarious with all this stuff. It's a bunch of old white dudes. What's Klaus Schwab? Old white dude.
What's Bill Gates?
Bill Gates, old white dude.
Elon Musk.
Middle-aged white dude.
Okay, let's think of
Jeff Bezos,
let's
old
think
white
of
dude.
Mark.
Mark Zuckerberg,
Yeah,
old white dude.
there you go. Oh,
Being generous on that.
the Noah guy.
Yuval Noah Harari
one.
is another white guy
Okay.
from Israel.
What about Putin?
Nephilim. Pooty Poot, white guy. Old white guy.
Okay. What about is that Zelensky?
Voldemort Zelensky.
Yeah.
White dude.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm running out. Wow.
The Who leader is
Bunch
it.
of
What's the Who
racists.
guy's name? He's got the interesting name. He really sold
Who?
out his people. You know, the World Health Organization. What's that?
Oh, they're all
name?
creepy. Trust me.
He looks the guy that runs the Who looks like the what you call its mustache. Who's the science Neil deGrasse Tyson. The guy that runs the Who looks like it. George Soros, old white dude. Yeah.
Zuck isn't a dude. He's the guy from Star Trek.
He's Data.
Oh man.
Fauci, old white dude.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah. Malthusians,
Uncle Joe,
eugenicist.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Joe, old white dude. But I remember him and Corn Pop go way back, dude.
Way back, dude.
The street. And remember, if you don't vote for Joe, you're not black. So there's that too. He literally said that, which I thought was great.
So awesome. Tyson should stick with chicken.
Mike Tyson? I'm a chicken. Trump, old white dude.
Yep.
Barry Soetoro, mostly white dude.
Oh no, Tess.
Tess, you made it just in time.
Yeah,
we're talking about all the old white dudes that want to run everything. It's really great.
And then blame us for being racist.
Yeah,
exactly.
With awesome hair. Humans need to, that's a strange way of saying that. Humans need to stop them like humans versus animals or what?
Well, I think maybe they're lizard people, maybe.
Oh, humans need to stop complying with lizard folk.
With these monsters. See,
Yeah,
lizard monsters.
Oh. Y'all need to
still
stop
don't
the
get
lizard
any
folk,
notifications.
Right? That's it, Tedros. That's it, dude. Tedros.
Look at
I
that
just remember that guy's name. I always think of Boutros Ghali when I hear Tedros. But does anybody remember who Boutros Ghali was? I'm pretty sure he was a UN whatever.
Humans versus the sleep
He was
stats.
before. Yeah.
Nephilim. Yeah, there you go. Nephilim.
Ban Ki-moon or Young Q. I forget. Yeah, I'm forgetting my UN. We didn't get hit with any. We got hit with some rain, no hail.
Good chunk of rain.
Yeah, lots of rain. It's been great. So far, our annual rain accumulation is 28 inches a year
for our city.
For annual rainfall, and so far 2020 27 inches.
And I think we've gotten more here on
and in our location we've gotten more than that, and it is so far probably it's going to be a great year. Yeah, it's going to be excellent.
Yeah,
and we're probably going to get some backup water storage tanks and then pump out of the pond into tank storage just for irrigation or whatever.
War between humans and Satan. Yep, pretty much.
Oh, so Side Hustle saying that they haven't gotten a lot of rain up there. I know that goes on, man.
Well, yeah, it's like Northeast Texas is in this like perfect spot because it really doesn't pass us the rain from the Gulf. I mean, it really dumps it here, and it'll go, if it does move up, it'll move up, and then normally it'll go to the the east of us, actually start traveling over there to Louisiana and those other places, Mississippi, if it's a big storm.
All right, y'all. Well, before we start getting all grainy because of Restream loving the Ukrainians more than they love us, we're probably going to sign off. We just want to thank everybody for hanging out. Hey, definitely go check out the TexasBoys.com. The
Give it
gallon
a look.
honeys will be back in stock. Check out our new t-shirts and keep an eye out for the butt Macau farts. And that's muh spelled like M-U-H. So it's not
also,
but my cow farts.
Go check out the native mushroom brew. The camera, of course, changes then. It has seven different types of mushrooms in it, and it's non-GMO and organic. And also, we have organic CBD coffee over there, and our Lion's Mane coffee over there too. So all types of cool stuff to go check out. And for any of our customers that are over there, we just wanted to go ahead and say a big thank you to all of y'all that have bought over there, and a big thank you to all of our natives. Y'all keep the channel alive and running, and for everyone that's here on the show. And also, I think we'll be going, Lord willing, we should go live again at 7 on Monday.
Okay.
So there you go.
No, none of our mushrooms are
no
hallucinogenic. These are all
beneficial,
adaptogenic. Does that say what mushrooms are?
Yeah, it does. Here you go. You can read them.
Yeah,
read them off.
What do we got? We got turkey tail, lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, shiitake, mitake, and red reishi.
There you go.
That's in the native mushroom brew. Check it out, y'all. It is delicious. You put a little dab of honey in there. We like some. We use some organic coconut milk, which makes it believable.
I mean, you can. The cool thing about it is if you just buy the native mushroom brew, is that you can really add it to anything you want. If it's just the mushroom powder.
Hold on, y'all.
Sorry. Go
Klaus
ahead.
has a question.
What is it?
Do you have boogs? What's a boog? Are you trying to say a bog, like accumulation of water? This is amazing that Klaus Schwab is on our live stream. Listen, Klaus, we were just talking about
not an honor.
So now we were just talking about these old white people that want to like kill everybody.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that your name came up. So
yeah.
What say you, Klaus, about
yeah, and you better talk like you normally do.
Boogs. He's talking about the boogs.
Boog.
He wants to know if we have the boogs.
Boog farming is the future.
Klaus, are you trying to propagandize us, Klaus?
I think he is. Boogs. Nice. I like it. Look, he's even laughing.
Dude, there you go. So funny. He said boogs, and I'm just glad that he was referring to bugs rather than something. We need your shirts. Hey, our shirts are compost everything.
That would be a good one. Just compost everything. Oh, man.
All right, y'all. So he's bugging you. Well, Klaus, I'm glad that we have the gravitas to pull in and influence somebody like Klaus.
Yes.
I think it's great that he came to hang out.
That's awesome.
And Klaus, you really must amend your ways.
Exactly.
Repent and believe the gospel before you burn. All right. Because you have a special place. It says Klaus Schwab by name in the book of Revelation, but it definitely alludes to you. So just saying, repent and believe the gospel, my friend.
Sounds good.
All right. And while that sounds like I'm joking, I'm not. But anyway, so thanks for hanging out, y'all.
All right. See y'all later.
Night. Have a great weekend.
All right.